I feel like you've gotten a lot of compliments today, though.
I have.
I complimented your skirt when I saw it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Even that creepy dude in the car who pulled up at the lights and he was like...
Kia ora, welcome to the first episode of Unfiltered Fem, a podcast navigating the tough and messy terrain of young womanhood. I'm Abby.
And I'm Bronte.
And we're just two young gals trying to navigate womanhood ourselves. Pre-warning, things will get messy, emotional, and maybe questionable, so you might want to get comfortable for this one.
Conformity, in my perspective, I guess, would be it's the feeling of wanting to do something or feeling like we need to be a certain way because of people around us or things that we see around us, often social media. I feel like that's a big thing. Like we see these girls and females and beautiful people online, and we want to be like them. So I guess that's conformity in a way. We want to try our hardest to be a certain person. I'm a counsellor, and I've been doing this for about 4 years now. So I've just finished my master's degree in counselling. So it's been quite a long process, about 6 years of studying, but I'm so grateful for where I am now. I decided to go into private practice pretty much around conformity because I wanted to, be the counsellor that I am, not what other people want me to be. So I got into this role because I suffer from mental health, like lots of people. So I just want to be there for people who might be suffering as well. I feel like I come from an empathetic approach because I have a little bit of an understanding of what people might be dealing with. So yeah, it's such a cool job to be in. And I'm very grateful. I feel like there's quite a big reason as to why people might want to conform to certain things. In like a psychological way, I guess it would go back to like 1,000 years ago when it was like life or death. So we were, if we were in tribes or our ancestors were like in a little village, you kind of had to act a certain way to be accepted by these people. And if you weren't, it was pretty much down to being kicked out, and it was life or death. So a bit of intergenerational stuff there where we now see if we're outside the norm, it's unsafe. So it can go back to there, but like I said, social media, it's a lot like that. Friend groups, even if we have like such amazing friends, we still might not be showing them our true self because we want to conform to the social norms. Family members, that's another way. Just all our environmental factors and stuff like that can have a big effect on how we conform to things.
What went through your brain when you chose your outfit today?
Honestly, I had like 4 different outfits. I tried them on. There's different pieces that I love so much. Like this skirt, for example.
It is a nice skirt.
Thank you. I got it about a year ago and I have not worn it once. I've tried it on so many times, and because it looks a little funky with my body, I'm not the skinniest gal. It's always kind of stuck in my head when I put it on. Then I'm like, people going to like see me and be like, that skirt's not right for her body, or pink's not her colour. But today I kind of was like, stuff it.
Yeah.
It represents me, it represents how I'm feeling, so decided to chuck it on, and I'm really happy about it.
Good. I feel like you've gotten a lot of compliments today, though.
I have.
I complimented your skirt when I saw it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Even that creepy dude in the car who pulled up at the lights, and he was like... and he was like, wow, your skirt looks so good. Thank you, Bob.
That's so mean. He's our friend.
It was. Okay, at the start I thought I was getting catcalled. Okay, it was scary. Have you ever noticed, obviously I could definitely have something wrong with me, but there's this little voice in my head that is always telling me otherwise. Like it is so bad to the point that I will quite literally not end up going somewhere, like if I'm invited somewhere, not go, because it's telling me, I tell myself, I'm like, stuff all this, like I'm gonna go, I don't care if they're gonna judge me for what I'm wearing, how I act, because I'm not gonna drink, because I'm not gonna stay out late, like I seriously don't care. But then this little annoying voice that sounds quite familiar, quite similar to my own voice actually, says to me, you know what, they're gonna judge you, so you should honestly just not go. I think stay home, watch Netflix, and stress and feel anxious about all the judgment that you're going to receive either way, if you go or if you don't go, because nobody likes you.
Please stop listening to that voice, for one. But also I am the exact same. I have that voice too, except somewhat opposite sometimes.
Ooh.
I am sometimes judgy. The first thought in my head is always me judging people around me sometimes, but that's out of my own insecurity, but also how I was taught to view people.
Definitely everyone, I can't speak for everyone actually, that's incorrect, but a lot of people definitely do have this little voice in their head, whether it's telling them not to do something because someone's going to judge them, or maybe whether like it's that voice is judging somebody else. We honestly all suffer from the little man in our head, is what I'm going to call him.
The little
him,
man.
her, little, whatever they want to be, whoever they are, whether it's your dog, whether it's yourself.
It's a little gremlin. It's just a little gremlin, I think.
Yeah. It's just nagging. It's not needed. It doesn't need to be there, honestly. So this little voice inside your head was actually something I didn't know about, honestly, till yesterday when we had a discussion with Shayla Wilson, who's a counsellor, who honestly gave some amazing advice and opened me up to the idea that it's all right to feel like you are, I forgot the word, conforming. To feel like you're conforming, because everyone goes through that experience with it, some like on a different level to other people, but we all experience it. And I feel like even like the little voice in your head, that's such a cool thing to learn about, because you're not the only one. Like I'm not the only one with a little gremlin inside my head telling me not to do this, not to do that.
Yeah. She definitely changed my perspective on how I view myself and how I view other people as well.
So, you know that little voice that you get in your head? And it's always there. I feel like paying attention to that is really big. Focusing on that little voice, because that little voice is essential. If you are, if someone's asking you a question and you generally have an opinion about it, but you're holding back because that little voice is saying, don't say that, they won't like you, don't say that, because, you know, that's pretty much telling you that you are conforming to whatever the situation is. I feel like it's there's quite a big reason as to why people might want to conform to certain things. In like a psychological way, I guess it would go back to like 1,000 years ago when it was like life or death. So we were, if we were in tribes, or our ancestors were like in a little village, you kind of had to act a certain way to be accepted by these people. And if you weren't, it was pretty much down to being kicked out, and it was life or death. So a bit of intergenerational stuff there, where we now see if we're outside the norm, it's unsafe. So it can go back to there, but like I said, social media, it's a lot like that. Friend groups, even if we have like such amazing friends, we still might not be showing them our true self because we want to conform to the social norms. Family members, that's another way. Just all our environmental factors and stuff like that can have a big effect on how we conform to things.
How do you feel like you grew up? Do you think because of who you are now, do you think that was because of the environment you grew up in?
Absolutely. That probably not right now, not who I am right now. There's a wee part of me that definitely is. I have been majorly influenced by my parents, and I will admit that I have made some bad decisions based off their opinions because I thought that's the right thing to do. Like, they're middle-aged white people. They're gonna say bad stuff. They're gonna have bad opinions, bad ideas. And sadly, because I'm like, they're my parents, they know everything. They know everything that's right. They know everything that's wrong. They know what's good for me. That I have to be them. I have to be their little follower ultimately. And finally, I have seen how wrong that is. I have obviously it's them. They do them. I don't want to change them. I don't want them to follow my expectations and standards. But I didn't want to stay there. I didn't want to stay in that little box that just my parents kind of put me in. So honestly, I think university has helped with this, getting my confidence up, because everyone is so different. Like, even today when we went out and we met this young woman, she was so cool. She said she didn't care what other people thought, and she was confident because she believed in herself. She loved what she wore and didn't really care what anyone else thought about her, because it's who she is. It's her body, her choice, her opinions. Yeah, how about you?
That's an interesting one, because earlier today we were told that statistically you are more likely to end up like your parents. So if your parents didn't graduate high school, you most likely won't graduate high school. If your parents don't earn a lot of money, you're probably not going to earn a lot of money. And I think that's quite interesting, because I think if you put it in that perspective, I am nothing like my parents. Both of my parents dropped out of high school. One of my parents is more well off than the other. So I suppose in that sense, I'll earn somewhere in the middle, according to these statistics. But at the same time, I don't think that the environment I grew up in, I think it had a hand in how I turned out. But I've also been told by multiple people that they're surprised at how well I've done and how well I've turned out despite what I've been through, which is really interesting. And I think that's something that also scares me as well, when people tell me that, like, have you ever heard of the saying, like, the abused becomes the abuser?
Yes. Yeah.
That's something that plays in my mind a lot, and that always scares me.
Wow. So do you think you've kind of, in a way, how do I word this? Hold on, let me rethink. I'm trying to go back to the nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
So obviously it's expected that in that, based off your environment that you're in, it kind of impacts you, influences your actions, your beliefs, everything about you. Do you think that in a way it has influenced it, but it's influenced it for the better? It's pushed you on an opposite path that you don't want to be that way. You want to be the opposite?
Oh, for sure. I think it's interesting. It depends on your perspective on it, whether you're supposed to continue to stay in that environment or whether you want to change it.
So how did you honestly break free of it?
I actually don't know. I do not know. I think I was lucky that I had a friend at the time that was just there for me and someone to talk to. And I don't know, at the same time, I had a little voice in my head saying, this isn't what I want. Like, I don't want to be like this. I have dreams that I want to chase. Like, I want to do better things. I don't know. I saw people in my life, how they turned out and the path they took, and I went, that's not for me. I don't want to be like that. Yeah. But then again, statistically, I'm supposed to turn out like that. I don't know. I got real deep. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get that deep. That's scary. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
That is really
I'm
good.
sweating. My hands are sweating.
I feel like being a teenager in general is like the hardest time in someone's life. It's tricky being a teenager. I feel for teenagers now. I'm like, oh, been there, done that. It's horrible. So yeah, it definitely affected who I was. I kind of, within schools, you see there's little groups and everyone wants to be in the cool group. Everyone wants to be the popular people and stuff like that. So I guess I was always trying to fit into that norm, even though I am so not fitting into that norm. That's like not me. So that definitely had an effect on my personality, because I was trying to be someone that I wasn't. I was trying to slide my way into this norm. So because I thought people would like me. I thought I'd get a boyfriend. I thought all that kind of stuff. Thought I'd be popular when it probably did more harm to my mental health, because I actually wasn't being who I wanted to be. I was being completely opposite.
This is something that pisses me off, and I will forever be annoyed at this. From me probably being 4 years old, even younger, I've always been a bit more of a tomboy in that sense. I've never been super into dolls, and I've never been, the stereotypical little girl wearing pink dresses and stuff. I liked to go outside. I did play in the mud sometimes. And I would constantly get told by my parents to be more ladylike. And as I got older, it started to irk me more and more, because all I remember thinking, how am I not being a lady? I am a lady. And it got to the point where I started biting back at my parents. And I would sit there with my legs spread, and my mum would say, "Oh, Abby, close your legs, sit like a lady." And I would look my mum dead in the eye, and I would tell her, "Mum, I am a lady, and this is how I'm sitting, so it's ladylike." I was probably 10 years old.
Can I be you? Little Bronte needed a role model like you in her life.
I don't know why I just thought I could not mouth off like that, but I just remember that was one thing that I would always get told that really irked me. And I was only like that through primary school though. As soon as I got to high school, my mentality changed. I didn't care about what anybody thought of me until year 9 of high school. Year 9 of high school was when I think I started to notice people around me more. I wasn't in my own little world anymore. I started to notice people saying things about other people, and them saying, "Oh, look at them, look at their hair, look at their clothes, look at how they chose to dress, look at how they're acting." Through primary school, I didn't care. I think that's why I thought that me saying that to my mum, in a sense, I didn't care. I was it's fine. I'm a lady. This is how I'm sitting. Look at me now. This isn't very ladylike.
It's comfortable.
It's very comfortable. But, sorry, I've gone on a little rant. But
oh my gosh, no.
Year 9 was actually, I think that's when I started to care more about what people thought. And I remember going to school, I started to wear my hair out instead of tying it up in a ponytail, because that's what all the other girls did. And I remember once someone told me that I would look so much better if I just wore my hair down.
Really?
Yeah. And so since then I was like, okay, I have to wear my hair down, because that's what people like. That's what people want to see of me.
Wow.
Weird, isn't it though?
Yeah, I mean, you look great with your hair up and your hair down, but I don't think anyone should be telling you.
No, it shouldn't matter. I should just wear what I want to wear.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I went to an all-girls Catholic high school, and we weren't allowed to wear our hair down. We had to wear it up. We weren't allowed to colour our hair unless it was natural colours, so blonde or dark colours. Red, pink, blue, green were out of the picture. But even for me, I have curly hair. It's not shown now, but I found it really difficult styling my hair. So I would have it in this messy, it was really bad. It looked like a rat's nest. It was bad, low bun. And that pushed my confidence so low, because I couldn't do anything about it. One, it was expected of me from the school that I had to have my hair like that. And two, because every other girl did that as well, they followed that. The older girls who I looked up to, they followed those rules of having to look a certain way. We all had to look the same, wear the same uniform. You can't have your socks down low, you have to have them above your knee. We all just had to be the same, and it was really hard seeing older girls kind of do that and confidently follow those rules when you aren't the perfect looking girl, that stereotypical girl,
cookie cutter.
Yeah, where you can't just wake up in the morning, have 10 minutes to get ready to throw your hair back in that, where you have to get up an hour early and brushing it, pulling your hair out for half an hour because you're trying to get it into one simple hairstyle, and tanning. Fake tanning. I used to fake tan all the time.
For school?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes, because all the other girls would do it. And I was like, I have to do that. Like, it's not okay. It's not okay to be pale and pasty, especially in the summer. All my friends did it, and they will point out to me when I wasn't fake tanning. They'll point out to me. They'll be like, "Oh, you're looking very pasty today, Bronte." I'll be like,
seriously?
Yes, it was the most heartbreaking thing when they'll say that to me, because I'm like, I put the effort in, and I can't. Why is it not okay for me to look like this? First time it happened was we had this thing called Cultural Festival where you do like dancing and singing in your houses. So we were performing, and I was like, I don't want to be up on stage and look like myself. I don't want to look like myself. So then, like, fake tanned, literally straightened my hair, which took an hour to straighten. No, poor me. Why would I do that to myself?
I feel like people pleasing is, I see this thing all over TikTok at the moment, and it's like, I've got a people pleasing personality, and it's like a personality trait. And as humans, we kind of want to please our peers, especially in New Zealand. Like, I feel like New Zealanders are very, we don't want conflict. Like, we're very easy to just be like, yes, even though our brain is screaming, no, I don't want to do that. So yeah, I feel like people pleasing has a very big effect on it. If we were able to set stronger boundaries for ourselves, it might have an effect on how we conform.
Hello.
Hey.
I have a question for you.
Hit it.
How does conformity impact your life?
That's a very good question. I think being a woman going into a very strong industry, conformity can impact things like how I choose to present myself to people, especially as a woman, not wanting to be overbearing with how you dress, how you act, how you speak, and almost like what your opinions are as well.
I feel like for me, I went to an all-girls high school, and it was very like everyone tried to be the same. Like, especially like I remember having drama with ball dresses, like, you know, like everyone's trying to like get the same tans, and like, and there was like a group chat, and it was like if you wore the same ball dress, it was like there was drama about it, but then like obviously everyone wanted to look the same at the same time, so it's kind of confusing because it's like you want to be the same but you also want to be different.
Every day when I get dressed, how I do my hair, everything, how I look.
I think conformity impacts my life a lot every day, especially being a young girl. I feel like we're expected to look a certain way, dress a certain way, and if you don't, it's just, there's a lot of judgment.
I went to the same high school, so it was just like brands and certain things that everyone did that was like a big thing. You felt like you had to buy into that even if you didn't actually care that much.
There's a lot of things that I don't wear because I don't have the typical body type, so yeah, things that I'd love to wear but just don't.
It impacts my life every single day because as a woman of colour, everything that I do, I'm a representative of a specific group of people. So yeah, everything I do, I think, okay, like, you know, this is the person, they're meeting someone like me for the first time. I represent a big group of people, and everything that I do, I'm making sure that, you know, I'm not conforming to any stereotypes that people might have about me.
Thanks for watching this episode of Unfiltered Fem. If you want to catch more of us, check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Spotify and YouTube at Unfiltered Fem. A big thank you to our special guests that joined us today. Catch the next episode on Friday at 5 p.m.